Off my transcript because that freaks me out. Good evening and welcome to the District 8 Fiesta Scholarship Workshop. We are so excited that you are here joining us this evening. My name is Megan Schaefer. I'm the District 8 4-H specialist, and I'm going to switch things up a little bit this evening. I'm going to start with a little bit of a different presentation. I want to talk more about all types of funding for college, and then we're going to dive into how to put the 4-H Foundation Opportunity Scholarship together. And so we'll cover a little bit of everything tonight. If you have questions, feel free to drop those in the chat as we go, and I'll get them answered as I can, okay? Again, this is being recorded, so if you need to go back and listen to it again or catch up with something, or you have to step away for a second, no worries. And I will send the link out tomorrow to everyone so that you can have with both presentations so that you can have those to review. Okay, so as we get started, we're just going to dive right on in. As we get started, one of the things I like to talk about oftentimes is deciding really what kind of education do you want to get. You know, there's a lot of questions that we ask, that kids ask us. You know, why do I need to go to college? What kind of degree do I need to get? You know, what is right for you? And so we have these frequently asked questions. Why pursue higher education? What are the benefits to getting a college degree? How do I apply for college? What do I need to have to be able to apply for college? And what are the most common myths about college? The big ones, which is probably what you all are here for tonight, is what financial support is out there, and then where do I find that money? And so that's really what we're going to talk about tonight. I'm going to skip through a couple of these so I get to the real important things. But what I wanted to hit on first is that college doesn't just mean a 4-year degree. We do encourage you to go get those 4-year degrees, but if that's not right for you, then that's okay. We can still find you money to pay for school. Technical and vocational certifications, we love those, and we would encourage those are a right fit for to go get that. Or an associate's degree is also an option too. And we'll talk about some scholarships geared towards those degrees as well. When we talk about college applications, there's a lot of things that we need to have ready to go for those. Just kind of a quick poll. How many of you have already applied and been accepted to a college? You can turn on your little reaction or drop it in the chat. Okay, I've got 1. Awesome. 2, very good. 3, okay, awesome. Love it. Okay, so if you've already applied and been accepted, oh, yep, couple more. Okay, fantastic. Then that is great. You've already been through this process. If not, here's just kind of a quick rundown of some things that you would need to make sure that you had to apply for either a 2-year college or a 4-year university. Just kind of some great things to have on hand. Making sure you have your test scores, your Apply Texas application, whatever application your school takes. Apply Texas is going to be our most common one, and then your application fee, and then what is specific to your college. What I wanted to go into a little bit more before we get to the scholarship side of it is the financial aid side of it. The FAFSA is something that every student will have to fill out regardless of your income. It opened on October 1st, and so I will go ahead and tell you this, and I'm going to repeat it probably several times tonight. If you have not already done your FAFSA, you need to do that ASAP. It doesn't take very long. They can actually pull up your stuff with last year's taxes, and so you can just type in your information and it'll pull your tax information up and it'll get your FAFSA to you pretty quick after that. And so, but don't delay in that. That system, you know, with like all government systems, goes down every now and then, and we want to make sure that we get that information in time to submit our scholarship application. The FAFSA is free to complete, so please do not pay to file that. There are lots of websites out there that require you to pay to file your FAFSA. Those are not the true FAFSA websites. The actual FAFSA website is FAFSA.gov, And that one has all the information there that you need to be able to file for your FAFSA. Do it early. I will reiterate that 100 times tonight. Do not delay on this. If you've already done it, that's awesome. If not, do it now. That way you can check that one off your checklist and move on to the next thing. Okay, what is the FAFSA? The FAFSA is the federal aid, and federal aid and financial student aid report. This is where they're going to determine what your estimated family contribution is going to be, and depending on what that family contribution is, can depend on like how much financial aid you receive from your college. Um, there's some common myths out there that we just kind of wanted to talk about for a second. The first one is I know my family won't receive assistance because we make too much money. While a lot of us would love to be able to say that, not everybody can, but those who can, just know that income is not the only determinant of your eligibility. There's other factors in there, such as family size, number of students that are in college. Um, some scholarships require a FAFSA regardless of your income, like the 4-H Opportunity Scholarship. There's lots of factors that go into that FAFSA. So it's not necessarily just that, oh, we make too much money, we're not going to get any assistance. That's your financial aid assistance. That's not, scholarships are not necessarily dependent on that. Another myth is that I don't want to complete the FAFSA because my personal information will be shared with everyone. That's not true. Colleges are bound by privacy laws and regulations that prevent them from sharing your information with other people. And another one is often said that the FAFSA questions do not capture my family's current situation. There are special circumstances that can be taken into consideration with completing a financial aid application. You'll just need to contact your college's financial aid office to find out how to claim those. So if there are extra things that, for sure your FAFSA is not capturing, maybe your family took in extra students, or you lost a parent, recently, or going through illness or things like that. Those are things that the colleges can take into consideration. And so it's just a conversation to have with that college's financial aid office. Okay, now this is where we want to spend a lot of our time is the money part. Okay, so what kind of financial support is out there? I sat through a presentation back in September on really this presentation where they talked about 3 different types of money to pay for school, and I loved that analogy. There's earned money, free money, and borrowed money. Okay, so your borrowed money is going to be your loans. That's student loans, that's Parent Plus loans, they're federal or state or private loans, whatever you get. It's borrowing money to pay for college, which is what we want to try to help you stay away from. We don't necessarily want to encourage you to borrow money. We want to point you more towards the free and earned money, right? That's what we want to learn about. The free money are going to be things like internships, work study, and grants. That's going to come through a lot with your financial aid stuff, a lot with your FAFSA. And then our earned money is going to be our scholarships, our on-campus jobs, our office campus jobs, all of those types of things. And so those are the 3 types of money. We want to find all the money that we can get, but know that we might have to have a little bit from each category. Okay. Scholarships. That's the big one. That's what we're in here for. So I want to hang out here for just a second, and before we dive into the opportunity scholarships, there are tons of scholarships out there and that are available to you, not just the 4-H Foundation scholarship. Okay, there are scholarships from all sorts of organizations. There's local scholarships, national scholarships, all kinds of things. What I would encourage you to do is to start now. We're probably even just a little bit behind if we're just now starting to apply for scholarships, but I would start early. What we see oftentimes in the springtime when a lot of these scholarships are due is we have major stock shows, we have spring sports, we have the busyness of being a senior in the springtime all happens, and all these scholarship things take a back seat. So we want to make sure that we get them done early. I would say for sure by February 1st, we want to be done applying for scholarships so we can move on to the rest of our stuff. That sounds like a really quick turnaround time, and it is, but we have some things that will maybe help ease that a little bit. The second is to get organized. I had a parent one time tell me that she had this giant spreadsheet and it was color coded and it was beautiful with all the scholarships that her child was applying for, with due dates, what they needed to have for it, transcripts, essays, all that stuff, and it had a check mark in there of what was needed for that scholarship, and then it had the date that they applied for it. And so it was a great way to be able to keep track of how much money they had coming in for school. The third thing is, if you are taking dual credit classes, whatever university or college you want to attend post high school, make sure that the classes that you've taken in high school will transfer to the college that you want to attend. If they're not going to transfer exactly, I would go have a conversation with your academic advisor there on campus to see how they can fit them in, because they can do some finagling a little bit to make sure that those classes can get in for you. Next, I would visit with your scholarship and financial aid offices at the colleges that you are intending to attend, just to kind of find out what their requirements are and what they have to offer you. The next thing is that there are a lot of scholarships out there, but there are some that want to charge you to apply for them. I would not apply for those. If it requires me to pay for them, I'm going to decline that, because I want to receive money. I do not want to spend money to receive that money, you know? And so I would be a little bit leery of those scholarships that are going to charge you some sort of application fee. And then finally, I would start with your local scholarships first. Our Rotary, our Kiwanis, Optimist, Lions Club, PTO, for your local county 4-H program, all of those, I would start with those scholarships first. Those are gonna be what I call our book payers. Those are gonna pay for our college books mostly. You know, they're probably not gonna be those huge scholarships that are gonna pay for your tuition or anything like that, but they're also awesome to pay for things like books, or help pay for your room and board, or some of those hidden fees that come with college, all of those things. And so start with your local ones first. Some other places that we can look for some scholarships, aside from the 4-H Foundation Scholarship, which we will get to in just a second, but there are some corporate scholarships out there. HEB gives really great scholarships, especially to those students who have worked at HEB through high school or will work at HEB through college. Walmart is the same way. If you're attending college with where there's a Walmart, I would look into working for Walmart and then their scholarship process that they have there as well. Chick-fil-A is the same. Home Depot, Taco Bell has a couple of different types of scholarships that are really interesting. Not necessarily employee scholarships, but just like some Taco Bell, like sports scholarships and stuff. Frito-Lay gives scholarships away. Oh, thanks, Jennifer. Yeah, Target has a scholarship program as well. Wendy's has an athletic scholarship. Starbucks also does one for their employees. United Grocers up in the Lubbock, Amarillo area are going to be great for that. 3D has 3D Duct Tape has a scholarship. If you do like every year, I think they do one for if you go to prom in a duct tape dress or suit, they'll give you, that you're going to drawing for a scholarship with that. Coca-Cola also has one that is a big multi-$1,000 scholarship as well. Some other ones that we like to talk about a lot are some of our organizations. Most of your local farm bureaus are all going to have some sort of local scholarship that I would definitely check out. Texas Farm Bureau is revamping a little bit the way that they give away their scholarships to give away more money and larger scholarships. And so That process will be coming out, I think, in January is what Dr. Weems told me. And so be on the lookout for that. They have some great things that they do and have a wide plethora of scholarships to give. Texas corn producers, I sent an email out to all of your county agents several weeks ago about the corn producers scholarship. They have money to burn. They're wanting to give scholarships away. The corn producers do have some requirements, I think some membership requirements and things like that. I will tell you that this is the one that I would pay for because it is like a $25 student membership fee to become a member of the Texas corn producers. And then that makes you eligible to apply for their scholarship. And so I would pay that $25 to be able to be a member there and then apply for their scholarships. Our dairy associations, breed associations, Dairy Max, Southwest Dairy Farmers, they all do scholarships as well. Texas Wheat Growers does one that's similar to the Texas Corn Growers, Texas Beef Council, all of our animal breed associations, things like that. They all give scholarships. And so I would encourage you to look for those there as well. Houston Livestock Show also does one for their livestock exhibitors, specifically in they do the livestock exhibitor scholarship that is separate from the Texas 4-H Foundation scholarship, but they also do one for sheep and goat exhibitors, and so that's a memorial scholarship. So I would look into that one as well. Again, some other places to look are going to be our Rotary, Kiwanis, Chamber of Commerce. I am one to always promote my Chamber of Commerce's. They have a plethora of resources, not just for scholarships, but for all sorts of things. But they would be a place I would go look to see what kind of scholarships they have. Of course, all of our other local organizations, the Terry Foundation, if you haven't looked into that one, I would definitely look into that. Those Terry Foundation scholarships pay for, I think, 100% of your college tuition. One thing to note is that if you are a Terry Foundation scholar, you cannot also be a Texas 4-H scholar. Because the Terry Foundation covers so much of your college tuition, we don't cover that with our Texas 4-H scholarship. So it's one or the other for that. And then I would look into some college-specific scholarships. Another one is our transfer student scholarships. I know that Texas Tech has a program with some of the local junior colleges up there, like South Plains College, where if you are transferring in from South Plains College, they will pay, I think, like 60 or 70% of your tuition. And so, that's something to kind of look into there. Maybe a junior college is the place to start out and then to transfer into one of those 4-year universities. Again, just double check and make sure that your credits would transfer. The last thing I wanted to cover on here, which I'm going to cover later, but I will put this on the Scholar website, which I'll show you in a little bit. But these are some QR codes to some videos. There are 2 people. We know our kids are on TikTok. I know I'm on TikTok, and a lot of our adults are too. One of the things I have tried to preach with some of the kids that I work with is if you're on TikTok, go learn something. Let's put it to good use. There are 2 ladies on TikTok. One is Ryan Kelly. She is a phenomenal scholarship guru. She has found ways to pay for college multiple times over with all sorts of different scholarships. She finds scholarships that are kind of out of the box, and then she gives you tips on how to apply for those scholarships and then how to find money that nobody else is finding. She is phenomenal. There's also one, it's called the College Funding Queen. She is one that kind of takes some of those off the beaten path scholarships and talks about those, but she also talks about how to interview for scholarships and how to like write your essays and things like that. She does a phenomenal job. Parker County 4-H has some videos on YouTube that are great when it comes to things like FAFSA and interviews and all of that sort of stuff. And then I did a general YouTube search on how to apply for scholarships, and I found a lot of different videos on that. And so that search is on there as well with kind of the ones that I think are really good. So with that, I'm going to take a pause. If you have questions, I would love for you to drop them in the chat box. I'm going to switch my presentation real fast and get us to the other one. Here. Oh, Jennifer, yes, they will be on the District 8 website. They're not currently on there. They will be tomorrow. Okay. Oh, and somehow I still have, give me 1 second. I'm so sorry. I have my subtitles on and I just wanted to make sure that those are turned off. Okay. And I lost my, stop sharing. Share. Technology is awesome when it works properly. Okay, here we go. Okay, Texas 4-H Opportunity Scholarship, which is what most of you are here for. And so with that, let's dive right on into it. Okay. So as we know, the Texas 4-H Opportunity Scholarship Program is overseen by the Texas 4-H Youth Development Foundation. Each year, they give away about $2.8 million with around 220 to 230 scholarships, just depending on the dollar amounts and the number of scholars that we have. This year, they're estimating that they'll give away around 230. So keeping those numbers up, we're really excited about that. The 4-H scholarships are academic scholarships that are based on your 4-H experiences, your financial need, and then all the things that you've done throughout your 4-H career. Some changes in the program. We've had a few changes this year. The general eligibility to apply is not limited to the top half of your class. Youth in the third or fourth quartile of their class may apply. However, it's good to note that some of our donors may still require that the applicant be in a certain percentage of their class. That's just something to kind of keep in the back of your head. But it's good to note that that is no longer a requirement that the top half of their class, they have to be in the top half of their class to apply. Again, members receiving a Terry Foundation scholarship will not be eligible to receive the 4-H Foundation scholarship. This year, when we get to that point, I'll show you, but there used to be forms that your county extension agent had to sign in order to verify your eligibility. This year, I think as in last year, they did this as well. Your county extension agent will just receive a list of applicants that were submitted, and then they will approve those for your enrollment verification and your eligibility. Again, this year, they will be doing a self sign up for interview times. This is a first come, first serve. My advice to you is that if you have a specific time that you're looking to interview, those interviews typically happen the first weekend in May or the last weekend in April. If you have a specific time that you need to interview because you have state FFA contest or other things that are happening that weekend, I would be on the ball as soon as that email comes out to make sure that you get the interview time that you're looking for. I will tell you that there are more times available on Sunday than there are typically on Friday. just because we don't have quite so many excited about that Sunday time. One thing to note, again, this year, the ACT and SAT scores will not be required. However, if you do have those scores, we would love for you to include them in your application. Okay, so the types of scholarships that we have our baccalaureate scholarship, which is where our students who are pursuing a 4-year degree, Bachelor of Science or Bachelor of Arts. We have our technical scholarship for our students that are pursuing our technical certifications or certificates. Our collegiate scholarship, which is for our former 4-H members who are college students who have completed at least 30 hours at a grade point average of at least 2.7. And our baccalaureate scholarship, our Courageous Heart scholarship, which is for either baccalaureate or technical applicants. This is for 4-H members who have overcome obstacles related to medical, family, or education issues. Okay, we're going to dive more into each of those in just a minute. Some general eligibility requirements. This one is really big. Current active members, you have to be a current active member and have been a member for at least 2 of the 3 previous years. So that means that you have to be a member at least your senior year in either your freshman and sophomore or sophomore junior year. Okay, so you got to have 2 of the last 3 previous years. You have to be a United States citizen. You have to be a Texas resident, which to be in this 4-H program, you have to be anyways. You have to be scheduled to graduate from a Texas high school that's either public, private, or homeschool during the 2022-2023 year. And you have to have been accepted into your Texas college or university or technical school by the time of your interview. At the time of application, you do not have to be accepted yet, but by the time you go to interview, you do have to be accepted. Okay? A couple more requirements. You have to complete it and pass all the necessary standardized tests and requirements for graduation and met the entrance requirements of your college or university. On the application, you only have to have your supplemental documents that are your transcript, your FAFSA, and if you're applying for the Courageous Heart, your letters of recommendation. One thing to note, for those that are applying now, do not submit an application before all of your fall grades have been added to the transcript. So with that in mind, do not submit your application until January or February until they can get that whole first semester of grades calculated and added to your transcript. Okay, 2 things also to note. Applications must be complete and correct to be accepted. And once they are submitted, you cannot update anymore. Once you hit the submit button, there are no backsies. It is done. Okay? Yes, Marie, I will get to that. I've got a whole calendar for you at the end. Okay, our baccalaureate eligibility, just again to note that some of the scholarships require applicants to be in the top quarter of their classes, but that's not all of the scholarships. Houston Livestock Show does have a eligibility thing that if you have received, which if you've received all of this, I want to know your ways, more than $110,000 in total from financial aid or other scholarships, you are not, you have to list all of those and you'll probably not be qualified for their scholarship anymore. Okay? For our technical eligibility, you must not have plans to continue your education at any college or university at the conclusion of your technical program. Your certification or your 2-year program is going to be the end of the road for you. Our Courageous Heart applicants cannot be considered for any other of the opportunity scholarships. So for example, if you apply for a Courageous Heart scholarship, you will not also be considered for a baccalaureate scholarship. It is one or the other. You must have written documentation of your obstacles that has to come from a school counselor or a doctor or anything like that. Pretty much if you would need that, that paperwork for like a 504 designation at school, that's what we would need in your Courageous Heart eligibility. You must have 3 letters of recommendation, and then there is an extra narrative for you to complete. It's the Courageous Heart narrative. Something to note is that the maximum scholarship value on this one is $5,000, whereas all the other ones can go up to $20,000. Okay, so that's just something to note here. Again, you can come back and apply as a college student as long as you meet the requirements of 30 undergrad hours and a 2.7 cumulative GPA. Okay, a few reminders. We will again be using the Foundation Scholarship Portal. I will show you that at the end. They'll all go through the Foundation website. Once you get to the website, you'll go to types of scholarships, and you can go down and click Scholarship Portal, and then go in and select the type of scholarship that you want to apply for. There, I'm going to show you the website in just at the end of all of this. Okay, some things we need to gather before we are ready to put together our application. First, if you've done a 4-H record book, those are going to be very helpful. Okay, 4-H record books just make it a little bit easier to put together this scholarship. They are not required for you to put together this scholarship. It just makes it a little bit easier to pull all the things that you have done through your 4-H career. Other things that you can pull are if you've kept any kind of record of the things that you have participated in or competed in or participated with, any of those things, we can put those together to help you put this application together. Having the Opportunity Scholarship application guidelines is always helpful. I would also go ahead and get with your school counselor to find out how far in advance you need to put in a request for an official high school transcript. It has to have either the school seal or the original signature of the counselor or principal. And the reason I say I would get with them now to find out how far in advance is because you're one of however many seniors at your high school. Whether you go to a small school or a large school, there's usually only one counselor that is helping either your name group of people or all the seniors in your class get these transcripts sent out to their colleges and for their scholarships and things like that. So having a conversation with them to find out what they're going to need from you to be able to get that transcript to you in January is going to be really important. You need to know when you can put that request in. And then again, you're going to need your FAFSA report to be able to put that financial aid information in to complete this scholarship. Okay. This is what the scholarship process looks like. They release the application, it goes to the 4-H member, you submit it, the application is verified and certified, they judge them. We notify those that received an interview, then you interview, then we select the scholars, and you get a notification of that. Then you attend the scholarship banquet and presentation at Texas 4-H Roundup. Then you get the donor verification of financial support. You submit your contracts, your thank you notes, etc., and then they pay your make your payment to your university or your college. Okay, so that's kind of how all of this process works. One of the things that people always want to know is how are these scholarships scored, graded, however you want to put that. This is the rubric that our judges use. You'll see that 70 points out of your possible 100 points goes to your 4-H experiences and your narratives. So putting together all the information of all the things that you've done through your 4-H career is super important. That's worth more than half. Well, 70%. It's worth 70% of your total points. Okay, your grade point average, while this is an academic scholarship, does not weigh as heavily as your 4-H experiences do. You get 10 points for that, 10 points for financial need. That's your financial need narrative and your FAFSA information. And then you've got points in there for your Courageous Heart narratives and letters of recommendations. And then if you receive an interview, that interview is worth 10 points. for maximum award points of 100 across the board. Okay, now we're going to dive into the meat and potatoes. I will tell you this. When you go to set up your account through the scholarship portal, I recommend, not recommend, I will tell you, do not use mom or dad's email. The foundation does not want mom or dad's email because they will not be communicating with mom or dad. At this time, you're now an adult, and this is on you as a student to put together. And so we want to use an email address that you will have access to after you graduate. Do not use your current school email address because once you graduate from high school, you no longer have access to that email. So it needs to be something that you use through like Outlook or Hotmail or Gmail or Yahoo or any of those things, iCloud, any of those things. Use that email to be able to create your account in the scholarship portal. Again, they do not want the parent or guardian's email. They want to communicate with the student because the student is an adult and needs to be taking care of these things themselves with a little bit of help from you, but not the main contact. Okay. The scholarship portal opened in November, and this is what the button looks like at the bottom of the foundation page. When you log in, when you click on the button, this is the thing that you see. You'll see where it says create account, and those are the instructions there on how to create your account. Okay. Pretty self-explanatory, very simple to do. Once you get logged into it, you'll see the apply button. That's what you're going to want to click on. Once you click on that, then you can choose whatever type of scholarship you are going to apply for, whether it's the baccalaureate, the technical, the Courageous Heart, or the collegiate. Okay. They put this in here that if you have a fax to file tool to be able to like upload documents and stuff that you need, I think this is kind of a little bit outdated, but I will tell you, you have a few different options if you need to scan something and put it into the computer if you don't have a scanner at home. One, your county extension office should have a scanner somewhere in their office if their big copier is not one. And they would be happy to help you with that. Two, on your cell phones, all your little cell phones, you can scan from the iPhone on your Notes app, or there is an app that I use a lot. It's called Scannable, and you can use that to take a picture basically and convert it to a PDF of whatever kind of file you need to upload. Okay, so what files would you need to upload? Well, you're going to need to upload your FAFSA report, your SAR, and your high school transcript. Okay, so those are some things that we might want to go ahead and have the county office scan in for us, or if we have a scanner at home, scan them in or use one of those apps to do that. Okay, there is a collaborate tool that will allow you to invite someone to help edit your application. I don't like this tool. It's not my cup of tea. I like to have your application come in to me as a Word document, and I like to be able to mark it up with my track changes so you can see what changes I made and then decide for yourself if you like those changes or not, and then go from there. I will say at the end of this, I've got some information for you on how to get some feedback on your application. I don't suggest this way of doing it. This is just what the state tells us that we have the option to use. Okay. So now we're going to dive into the sections. The first sections are very self-explanatory. It's your personal information. One that I would encourage you to not skip over is the phonetic spelling of your name. This is going to be where you sound out how to say your name. Especially if you have a name that is hard to pronounce. Okay? You don't want it to be butchered when they call you out at Roundup. They want the phonetic spelling of your name. All of this information is going to need to be put in there. One of the things they ask is, are you also applying for an FFA scholarship? We do encourage you to apply for both the 4-H and the FFA scholarships, and you can receive both scholarships. One of the things, though, that we note is that, like, if you, through the Texas FFA Foundation, if you receive a Houston Livestock Scholarship, you're not going to also receive a Houston Livestock Scholarship through the Texas 4-H Foundation. So they just want to make sure that we're not double dipping on both sides of that. So that's just so we can keep track of it there. Okay. This is what the screen looks like when you're filling out your personal information. It's very self-explanatory. I will tell you that we ask that you make sure that you put your unique identifier on everything, and that's going to be your first two initials followed by the last four digits of your social security number. So Mary Short with a social security of 1443 would enter MS 1443. That's going to come in handy when we get into the other things where you can upload some files. Okay. Section 1B is just demographic information. It's pretty standard stuff that we see on everything that we do in 4-H, like our record books and all of that stuff. 1C is going to be your district information. It's going to show and your county information. I would hope that everyone knows what extension district you are in. If you're one of my counties, you are in District 8. And I hope that you know what county you're a member of and what your primary club is. Okay, if you don't know any of that information, call your county agent and they can help you find that information. One of the other ones that we're going to need is how many years have you been an enrolled 4-H member? Again, if you don't know that number, you might think it could be 5, it could be 6, it could be 2, it could be 4, whatever you think it is. Call your county agent and let them look it up for you. They can help you find that information. Then you're also going to need your county agent's information in that form as well. Okay, this is what it looks like on the screen. The next one, section 2, is where we put our college and university information. We're going to list out our first and second choice of colleges. One of the things I would recommend is that when you go to list these out, do not put the major or department do not list it the way that you call it. Okay, go to that college's website and look it up and find out what the name is listed in their college course catalog or degree plan or whatever that is called. For example, I have degrees in agricultural services and development. That's what they're actually called. It's not an extension degree, okay, or an ag education degree. They're agricultural services and development. So I would make sure that you have the correct name for your college that you're going to attend. Put your first choice, that's the one that you intend to attend, and then your second choice of college after that. Okay, this is what that looks like. They do ask you if you have been accepted or not. So just again, keep in mind that if you have not already been accepted, you have to be accepted before you go to interview. Okay, interviews take place in April or May. Okay, there's section 3 is a short little question. There are some specific guidelines for some of our San Antonio livestock school tour scholarships and our Fort Worth scholarships. Fort Worth requires that you have shown at their show before, and to get the San Antonio livestock school tour scholarship, you have to have been a school tour guide. So they just need that quick information. No bigs if you haven't done either one of those. We have lots of other places to pull money from. Okay. Okay. Going into our individual scholastic record. Okay, this is where we're going to put in our expected date of graduation, and we're going to upload that official transcript that we talked to our high school counselor about and put it in here. Okay. When we ask our counselor about getting that transcript, we're going to also give them a heads up that they will be receiving an email from the 4-H Foundation to verify the information that you have submitted. Okay, so this is what it looks like to upload that transcript. And then this is the email that your counselor or whoever's email that you put in will get. If you are homeschooled, I would suggest that you put in the person on record who is the school administrator, the headmaster, or the principal, or whoever is the listed administrator of your school. That could be mom or dad or whoever. Okay? You're going to provide their email address here, and this is the email that will go to them. And you'll just, again, make sure that you give them a heads up that this is coming so that they can go in and then fill this form out for you. Okay? They're going to go in and put in that what your grade point average is, what your quartile ranking is, what kind of school you go to, their name, their contact information, and then they're going to certify that everything above is correct. All right? If you are a homeschool parent, this is what that looks like. You'll just need to fill it out with all your information. One thing to note is that the high school grade point average must be on a 100-point unweighted system. Okay, so not a 3.5 or 4.0. It has to be the 85 or 90 out of the 100-point system. Okay. One of the cool things about this website is that when you do send things like that out, there is a active request tab in there that you can go and see how many times that email has been sent to your counselor or the administrator that has to fill that out for you. And you can see if they have turned it back in, responded to it or not. Okay. And so that's here. You can see how many people have done it, and then it will show you how many times it has been sent. That's very helpful. If you see that it's been about a week, maybe 2 weeks since you sent it, I would go have a conversation again with that high school administrator to make sure that they are paying attention to that request. Okay. All right. Section 6 is all of our financial information. This is where we're going to put in our student aid report. And this will also be our financial need narrative. Again, your financial aid report, your student aid report lays out your expected family contribution. Again, it could take up to 3 to 4 weeks to process. I think they're coming a little bit faster because we're not waiting for a letter in the mail anymore. It comes through an email. And I think it's pretty quick, but I would also not delay on getting that information submitted. Okay. This is the letter that you typically will get in your email, something similar to this, and that is what we want you to upload into the system. Okay, now we're going to get into the narratives and what we're going to put in here. A financial aid narrative. When I read these, I want to know a few things. Well, first of all, let me start with this. You have 3,500 characters to convey to me why you deserve this particular scholarship. Please do not start your scholarship with "I deserve this scholarship because." If you start it with that, I'm probably not going to read the rest of it. Okay. What I want you to do is I want you to start with a sentence that catches my attention. Then I want you to tell me what your financial situation is. Do you have older siblings who are attending college? Do you have parents who have some financial needs? Be very honest with that. Use a couple sentences to tell me about that. Has your family been through some sort of event that has caused them to be in a little bit of a financial hold? Are you not in a financial hold? That's okay too. Tell me why you need a scholarship to pay for college. Okay, everybody needs money to pay for college, and so this is where I need you to tell me why you need this money to pay for college. The other thing I want in this letter is I want you to tell me what you're going to do. Well, let me back up. I want you to tell me how much it's going to cost for you to go to college. What is the all-in room, board, books, tuition, everything that it's going to cost for you to go for however many years you're going to go to college? Break that down. Do not estimate that. Go to College Board, go to your college website, pull that information from there, and let me know exactly what it's going to cost you to go for 1 year or for 4 years. Okay. The final thing I want you to tell me is I want you to tell me what you plan to do to contribute to your college education. Are you going to have a job? Are you going to live on campus? Are you going to live off campus? Are you going to stay at home? Are you going to commute to school? What are you going to do to contribute to your financial, to the finances of your college education? Okay. Tell me all about it in 3,500 characters. Okay. There's a website here where you can find that university, cost of college, all of that stuff. College for Texans. I think College Board also has it. Your specific university could also have that information for you. When we get to the financial page, this is what that section looks like. I do not suggest only typing your narrative in this little box. Okay. What I would do is I would start your Word document and put all of your scholarship stuff in that Word document and then copy and paste it into this little box. Make sure that it is not more than 3,500 characters. It will cut you off and it will not let you submit if it is more than 3,500. Okay. Any questions about the financial section? Feel free to unmute if you need to do that. That's faster for you. Okay, I'm going to move on to section 6, which is the experiences, the honors, and the other narratives. Okay, I'm sorry, this is section 7. There are lots of things that we're going to talk about here, and we're going to break them down a little bit at a time. Okay, so we're going to talk project experiences. That's what we're going to start with. Project experiences, we get to list up to 4 projects. Okay, 4 main projects. So when you think back on your entire 4-H career, what are the 4 biggest projects that you have been involved in? Okay, here we're going to describe the years that we've been involved, the knowledge and skill that we've gained, the scope of activity related to the project. Tell me what you were involved in. Did you do demonstrations? Did you attend demonstrations or talks or workshops or tours or interviews or any of that stuff? Okay, all of that stuff we're going to culminate into your top 4 projects. Now, here's the kicker with this one. Okay, we don't have a lot of space to do this. We get, I think it's like 4,500 characters or 1 page. So we're going to have to use our space very effectively. Your font cannot be less than 8 points, and they recommend that it's at least 10. Okay. I have some examples I'm going to show you later as we get through some of this information. They have here a box for you to be able to put this information in there. And if you choose to do that, absolutely go for it. However, you do have the opportunity to upload a document where we can kind of make it a little prettier and put some tables and things like that in there and make it a little easier to read. When we put it in there in this format that they have given us this example of, sometimes it's a little hard to read. And so, especially if you are trying to convey all the things that you've done for your project, for 4 projects, and you want to convey everything that you've done, it's a little hard to fit it all into that little area. Okay, so sometimes, especially in this section, I would suggest uploading a document instead. Again, if you choose not to upload the document, at least type it out in a Word document first so that you can make sure that everything is spelled correctly, everything is grammatically correct, and that you have all the information you need. Okay. Again, with our project experiences, we get 4 projects. When we talk about projects, I don't want to know what contest you were involved in, okay? If you did food challenge, you did a foods and nutrition project. If you showed cattle, showed heifers, you had a beef cattle project. Those are the types of projects that we're talking about here. I don't want you to tell me that I had a steer project, I had a heifer project, had a gill project, had a barrow project, things like that. I had a beef project and I have a swine project. And then we detail all the things in those two projects. Most everybody has at least 4. If you struggle to find 4, call me. Let's talk about it. I bet we could find at least 4 for you. Okay. If you have more than 4, that's awesome. Pare it down to your top 4, the ones that you have the most experiences in or the greatest number of years involved in. Okay. Okay, we're going to go on to leadership experiences. Here we can list up to 20 major 4-H leadership roles. When we talk about leadership roles, we are talking the same way that we do in our record book. We're talking our volunteer leadership, our promotion leadership, and our elected appointed leadership. Volunteer is where we are helping with something. Maybe we're giving a demonstration at a livestock workshop or at a foods and nutrition workshop, things like that. Promotion is where we help with kickoff nights. We do radio spots, all of that stuff. And elected appointed are going to be things like our officer positions, our ambassador roles, all of those types of things. Here, we want to list our roles and responsibilities, the years and your level of involvement, plus your duties and accomplishments. That's what they say they want. Okay. What I want is I want to know what the key takeaways from these roles were for you. What did you learn through being the president of your 4-H club? And I say that because every single president in every single 4-H club has the same responsibilities. What makes you stand out from the crowd is when you take, instead of telling me I ran the 4-H meetings, you tell me through this position, I learned how to be a leader and how to speak in public in front of people. That's the meat and potatoes that I want. I want to know what it was that you're going to take away from this that's going to help you later in life. Those hardcore skills, public speaking, leadership, teamwork, communication. I want to know what of those you learned. Okay. We're going to also maybe talk about what kind of impact we had through our involvement through this particular thing. One thing I do want to note, if you don't have 20 major leadership experiences, that's okay. What we want you to have are however many you have quality leadership experiences. We want to focus on that quality of experiences rather than the quantity of experiences. Okay. Again, just like in the project experiences section, you have the opportunity to write these in straight into the box, but you also have the opportunity to upload a 1-page document that can put all of these into some tables and better help you organize them. Okay. You have 4,000 characters for this section. So we need to be succinct and brief with our words, very to the point, but to get our point across effectively. Okay. Citizenship and community service is what we have next. Yes, Marie, the upload has to be a PDF. Okay, citizenship, community service experiences, and honors. So your 4-H community service is going to be anything that we do related to serving the community. Okay, this can be anything from picking up trash to putting together care packages to playing bingo at the senior citizens home. Okay, all of those things are great things to do. Canned food drives, all of that stuff. What we want you to list here are your roles and responsibilities, your levels of involvement, and your duties and accomplishments. Just like in your record book, we want to know what role you had. Were you a member of the committee? Did you organize the committee? Were you the primary lead, or did you do this on your own without help from anybody in your 4-H club? What we want to really emphasize here, again, is what you learned through these experiences. And specifically, I want to know what the impact was that that this particular community service project had on other people. For example, if I participated in Ellis County's A Day in the Ring, I want to know that through A Day in the Ring, 350 special needs students went through the ring and showed a livestock animal. And I was able to be one of the buddies to go through with one of the students and help them with their livestock project. Okay. I want to know that. If we did a canned food drive, I want to know how many people we donated that food to and how much food we collected. If we went and visited the senior citizens at the old folks home, I want to know how long we were there and what the impact was. Did you have a special conversation with one of the residents there? Tell me about it. Tell me how this impacted somebody's life or impacted your life. Tell me about that. Okay. I don't want to just know that you picked up trash on the side of the road. I want to know what you learned from it. I want to know why that activity was specifically important to you. All right. Again, you get 15 of these. There are certain character limits here. And I think it's up to a 1-page document as well. When we talk about 4-H honors, we can list up to 4 major 4-H honors that you have received in your career. What we're going to do here is we're going to list the honor, the year we received it, the level of that award, and why I need to care that you received this particular award. I talked about this actually last week in our record book workshop, but one of the things I hear oftentimes is, well, I didn't receive one of the star awards. I'm not a gold star. I wasn't a bronze star, silver star. I didn't get the I Dare You award. I didn't get any awards at the 4-H banquet, so I have no awards to list. That's not true. An award or an honor is something that you consider to be an achievement. It could be placing in a major livestock show. It could be taking a spectacular photo and placing with that at the photography contest. It could have been I noticed Jolan was on here taking the video for Texas 4-H Congress and having thousands of people watch it. That could be the honor that you list here. Any honor that you receive, we just need to tell why that is important to you. Okay, that's the important part that we really want to pull out. We want to know the significance of it. We want to know, did it contribute to a goal that you had set for yourself? Is it something that helped to develop you as a person? Tell me about those. It doesn't just have to be the awards that were given out at a 4-H banquet. It could be anything that you consider an honor. Okay. When we look at the website, this is what the website looks like. We do have upload options available for this. Again, it's a 1-page document. You have 3,500 characters for honors and 4,000 characters for citizenship and community service. All right. Okay, moving on to our outside 4-H experience. This is where we want to know how you spend your time outside of your 4-H activities. We want to know what you were involved in. Do you have a job? Were you involved in other organizations through your school or through your church or through your community? We want to know, did you have a leadership role in any of those organizations? Did you do community service there? Did you receive any awards through school or through any of these other organizations? Tell me about those. Okay, this should read more like a resume of sorts so that we know how well-rounded you are. We want to know all the other cool things that make you a super awesome person. And so this is where you get to tell us about that. Okay, again, you can upload here. 3,500 characters is your limit. And again, if you do type directly into the box, please, please, please type it into a Word document first before you put it in here. Okay, those are going to be all of our experiences. The next few parts are going to be our narratives. Are we ready for some creative writing? Here we go. The first one is our personal narrative. This is where you get to tell me all about you. One of the things I would encourage you to do is to not repeat what you just listed in all of your experiences, leadership, and community service sections. What I would include are things that make you unique. What is unique about you? Did you have any obstacles that you had to overcome throughout your 4-H career? Did you have a specific telling moment that you went through that you knew exactly what you were going to do with your future? Um, what drove you to be in 4-H? What drove you to want to continue to be involved in 4-H? What brought you to this place where you are today? Tell me about you here in this personal narrative in 3,500 characters. Okay. Um, please, please, please do not use your name in this narrative. If you use your name, they will kick it out. They do not want your name in there at all. Um, Again, this one you do not get an upload option on. You have to put it directly into the text box. But what do I say? I've said 100 times already. Put it in a Word document and then copy and paste it over here. Okay. This personal narrative, again, is where you get to leave all the you-ness about you on the paper for that judge. So be very creative and very direct in what you want to tell them. Okay, moving on to our career narrative. This is where we're going to talk about how we are prepared and set up to go pursue the career that we have chosen. We want to know what brought you down this path that you have been down to go to pursue this degree that you're going to pursue. We want to know what you want to do with your future. Do you have a plan for your future? Have you always, always, always wanted to be a veterinarian? Since you were 2 years old and you put a toy stethoscope around your neck for the very first time, you wanted to be a veterinarian. Tell me about that. Tell me about the journey that you've taken to get from that 2-year-old to this 18-year-old who's going to go to college and now pursue an actual degree and career in veterinary medicine. Tell me about that. Okay. Tell me how you landed on the college that you landed on, or the particular degree or certification that you landed on. Tell me about that. This is where you get to be a little more personal about your journey. Excuse me. Oh, excuse me. And to talk about why this particular choice is so important to you. Okay, again, you have 3,500 characters, which is about 1 page. Copy and paste it into the box. Do not type directly into that box. And I say that because you'll see in a second on the website, the save button and the submit button are right next to each other. And once you hit submit, remember I said earlier, you do not get to go back and edit again. And so we do not want to submit until we are fully ready for that. So edit in a Word document and then let's copy and paste. Okay, we're coming up on the end of it here. The last part is the acknowledgement that everything there is correct and you acknowledge that it is all true and factual. Okay? That's your acknowledgement of integrity. For those that are going to apply for the Courageous Heart scholarship, here is where you get to put in your Courageous Heart narrative. Again, your narrative needs to talk about how you've dealt with this obstacle, people who have helped you through your situation, and how 4-H has played a positive role through this whole thing. Okay. This is what your references will look like. Please do not just get a reference from anybody. They have to write a letter. Okay. If you need an example of a reference letter, call me and I'll give you one. But most people know how to put one of those together. You do have to upload those reference letters here, and you do have to have 3 references for your Courageous Heart application. Okay. The final step of this is the county agent review. Again, the county agents will get a list of students that they have applied from their county, and then they will go in and confirm those. Also, your county agent is there to help you. have a conversation with them about what your goals are, and then ask them to help you achieve those goals by reviewing your scholarship. Okay? If I would go out on a limb to say that a lot of them, there's not many out there that would tell you no, but if they do, you call me and call me anyways, and I will help you review your application. With that being said, we're going to come up to some tips and tricks in just a minute, but here are some important deadlines. Okay, we do have a District 8 committee review committee that is put together to review all the scholarships that are submitted to us. And we all make comments on them and send them back to you so that you can make edits as you deem necessary and then submit your application. If you want the District 8 review committee to look over your scholarship, the deadline to send that in is January 13th, and I have directions on how to submit that in just a second. Okay. Please note that the next line is the most important thing in this entire scholarship. The deadline for this application is February 15th at 11:59 p.m. At 12 o'clock, the portal closes and you will no longer be able to submit. Where are we on February 15th? A good number of our families are at the San Antonio Livestock Show or in San Angelo at the Livestock Show. Okay, what is not great there? The internet. So I would go ahead and make sure that this application is submitted before we head out on those ventures. Okay, it's that is the time for the shooting sports contest at San Antonio. It's the heifer and sheep show at San Angelo. There's lots of things happening. I think it's the rounding up, or should be just after Fort Worth has ended. Please do not wait to submit this. Technical things happen, internet glitches, power goes out. Please, please, please do not wait until 11:30 on February 15th to submit your application. Submit it early. Okay. Your county extension agent has until February 24th to approve all of those. Interviews are set to be held April 28th through the 30th in College Station. You must be present in person to interview. So if you intend to apply for this scholarship, I would go ahead and mark off those dates so that you know that one of those dates that weekend, you're going to have to be in College Station. Award notifications typically come around mid-May. We try to get them out in time for the roundup deadline. Sometimes that happens, sometimes it doesn't. They just reopen roundup registration for our scholars to register to attend their scholarship banquets, and then the scholarship presentations that will happen on stage at Texas 4-H Roundup. Okay, that's kind of our timeline that we're looking at right now. When we talk about actually preparing our application, again, start early. Go ahead. If you have not already submitted your FAFSA, submit it now. Get that done first. Then gather all the information that you need and make sure that you get all sections completed. Okay. An application that has only been seen by 1 or 2 sets of eyes is not going to be a complete application. That application needs to be seen by at least 3 sets of eyes before you submit it. Okay. And I say that because there's things that people miss, grammar mistakes, sentence structure, the way that things are worded, people can tend to miss those a little bit. So I would say if it hasn't been reviewed at least 3 times, it is not going to be complete. Okay. Remember, we want to have the highest quality application that we can have with all the things that we can put in there. So make sure that we can put those in there effectively and efficiently. Please remember that this is a competitive academic scholarship. Okay, you're competing against applicants from all across the state. These are our top 4-Hers from across the state that submit applications for this. So this is very competitive. Not every applicant gets an interview. If you get an interview, you're not guaranteed a scholarship. So you are always working to get to that end point, okay? Something to note is that just because it worked for someone else last year on their application does not mean that it will work for you this year. The judges change each year, the applicants change each year. So the things that they might be looking for might be a little bit different from year to year. Some things to note that we do not set quotas for counties, district, or regions. However, District 8 has been in the second highest district for the last 2 years in the number of scholarships and the amount of dollars that we've brought back to the district. So we're really proud of that, and we're going to keep touting that. Fort Worth Stock Show is the only livestock show donor that requires participation in their show. That's why that box is on there for you to check. Please remember that the 4-H Foundation does not set the criteria for these scholarships. The donors set the criteria. So they have conversations with Houston Livestock Show, San Antonio Livestock Show, Fort Worth, and then all of our other donors that donate directly to the foundation. Again, please make sure that you have met the requirements to graduate from high school, or that you are on track to meet those. The way that this works is that each application receives a total score. The scores are sorted to the highest to the lowest, and the applications that are matched with the maximum dollar scholarship for which you applied or for which you qualify. Okay, so let's say you, out of 100 points, you got 99.9, and that matches with the Houston Livestock Show, then you get a $20,000 scholarship. Okay. Conversely, let's say you got an 89.5, and maybe that matches with a General Texas 4-H Foundation scholarship, and that amount is in $8,000. Okay. So those are just kind of the way that those things work out. Some scholarships are restricted to a major or a college or a course of study, and that those be verified each semester during the duration of the scholarship. Please do not lie to get a scholarship. If you're not going to be an animal science major, don't put animal science on there. Okay. It will catch up to you at some point, and you will lose your scholarship at some point if that degree changes and that scholarship was dependent on that degree. All right. Again, remember that if it has only been read once, it's rarely effective. Things happen, computers crash, internet goes out, all of that stuff. So make sure that we're on that timeline. Again, please remember that high school counselors need time to collect all of the transcripts for submission and all the information that they need for that transcript. So please give them the time that they need. Have those conversations now with them so that they are prepped and ready for you in January. Edit often. Edit, edit, edit. Okay? Edit, 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 edit. Edit so much. You're going to be so sick of this thing. I will tell you, one of the cool things about this particular scholarship, though, is that you can take these essays and these project experiences and all these things that you've done and tailor them just a little bit to fit all of the other scholarships that you're going to be applying for, like the Farm Bureau scholarship. You can use some of your essays that you've written here for that Farm Bureau scholarship. Your project experiences, your leadership stuff, all fits right in line with that scholarship. Some of these other ones that we find, like the Coca-Cola one or things like that, a lot of these things that we're already doing here, while it seems like a huge beast, work in a multitude of places. Okay, it just means that we have to tweak one or two things to make sure that they fit with what that particular scholarship is requiring. So it is a lot to do right now, but once you get it done, you can apply for all these other things. Okay, keep that in mind. Again, our deadline to submit for the district review is going to be January 13th. And I have the link for you. It must be in a Word document. Do not send me a PDF. I cannot edit a PDF. And it takes me about 7 steps longer to get that PDF in a Word document than if I just had it in a Word document to start with. Okay. Also, I'm going to reiterate this. Please do not add me as a collaborator on your application. I will not go in and collaborate in that system. If you want our committee to review these applications or me to review these applications, it has to come in through a Word document through this submission. This is how I keep track of everything so I don't lose it in my email and all of that. Okay, let me show you that website. I've got it right here. I had it right here. Okay. On the District 8 page, right here we go to scholarships. And if you go to workshop recordings and examples, it has all of these examples on here for you. The recording from tonight will be right here where it says recording. These PowerPoints that I have shared with you will also be on here. These examples are right here of project experiences. I have at least 4 examples on here of what they look like for you. Okay, so you have some that you can choose from. These are all different types of scholars from years past. I just kind of collect these as we go, and I think that these are really top-notch examples. There's leadership examples on here, some that look like you would have in your record book, some that look a little different. They all have the same information, they all just look a little different. Okay. This one actually is not great because it takes up way more than 1 page. So if we do a format like this, we need to make sure that we rein that in a little bit and tighten it up a little bit so that it fits what we are looking for, our page limit. Okay, citizenship and community service examples are here. There's all these things here for you to be able to choose from, whatever kind of format fits your personality. Outside of 4-H participation, there's different ones here. I liked this one because they talked about like their leadership things that they had there, what they learned, the personal impact, awards and service, all of the stuff that they did through that particular organization. Lots of ones in there. It just is kind of a personal preference on how you want to put that together. This is a big one. This is the narrative examples. I've given you some examples on some personal narratives, some career narratives, and I did not put a financial narrative on here because that is personal information to people, and so we try not to share those. Here's a career narrative, just so that you can kind of know a little bit about, have an example of what one looks like, okay? Yes, Marie, you can upload 1 page per section. Yep. Okay, so if you want the District 8 Scholarship Review Committee, which is county agents and myself, to review your scholarship application, this is where you're going to upload it. Right here on this page, you can put your name in there, your email where you want me to send your results back to, okay? And then put your Microsoft Word document in right here. And we will get that. I divvied it out to all the agents, and then they review it, and then we send it back to you with their comments, okay? Again, that deadline is January 13th. After January 13th, I cut it off, and I'm not taking any more because I usually end up with about 30 to 36 of them, and that is a lot of scholarships to read. So there is a password to get to this particular website. It is Texas 4-H Scholar, TX4H Scholar. I'm going to type it in the chat box for you. That's the password to get in there. People come steal our stuff all the time, so I just like to keep that one a little closer to the vest, and because it has all my examples on there, and my folks that attend my training get the examples. So yay you. The foundation website, I was going to show you that. Okay, so if we go to types of scholarships right here, we go to the scholarship portal. Here, this is where you'll create your new accounts. I already have one created because I like to check it from year to year to make sure that things are still working the way they say they were. So if I'm going to go here, see, I have collaboration requests. I never check those. I have other requests. So like if we need to follow up forms or anything like that, here I can go to apply and then hit on baccalaureate, and there's all my stuff. One of the things I wanted to show you at the very bottom, these are the two buttons. It says save application and submit application. They are right next to each other. So when I say put it in a Word document and don't put it in this thing until you're ready to submit, I really mean that, because you can so easily hit that submit application button before you're ready. You did get a box that pops up, but if you're like me, you just click off those real fast and not really read what they are. And so it's so easy to submit that before you're ready. So again, put it in a Word document, edit there, and then copy and paste over here or upload your PDF documents, okay? What other questions can I answer for you all? It's a lot of information in a very kind of condensed time. It's about an hour and a half. But I would love to answer any questions I can for you. Okay. I don't see anybody starting to type in the chat box or anybody unmuted. So you will inevitably have questions down the road. So feel free to give me a shout, shoot me an email, and I will help walk you through everything I can to the best of my ability, or I will point you in the direction of someone who can. Okay. Be on the lookout. Once our interview notifications come out, we do like to do mock interviews for a lot of our students to get you prepared for that. And so we'll do those in mid-April. Okay. So with that, I hope you all have a great rest of your evening. And again, start now and get those scholarships rocking and rolling. All right. You guys have a great evening.